different stories making the news every week, and we always share with you on the Detail TV segment we call Paper Review to take perspective on these issues every week. I am your Uncle John Tekem. Welcome once again. I have with me in the studios today Imaobong Akpa. Imaobong Akpa is a socio-political commentator. Welcome to the studio, Imaobong.
Thank you so much, John. It's good to be here.
How do you feel being in the studio?
Yeah, lovely.
You're welcome.
Yeah, sure.
We also have Pauline Sunta, who is of the Daily Little newspaper. Pauline Sunta is the supervising editor of that newspaper. He's a journalist. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Okay, we'll go straight to the major headline for the day. Banner headline 2023 presidency. Tinubu defense Osibanjo. Pauline, I'd like you to take this story. There is a story from the news coming up from the presidency that the vice president is being attacked by some persons of the members of the APC who are loyal to President Muhammadu Buhari. And the former governor of Lagos State and national leader of the party is saying no, that if at all Osibanjo, who is vice president of the country, has interest in contesting, in vying for the position of the president of the country ahead of 2019, he should be allowed to run. Do you feel that the various issues that have been reported recently, attacks directed, I'd like to mention, for instance, the vice president was asked to relocate all his aides recently from the State House. He has also been indicted by the National Assembly of certain malpractices. Now you recall equally that the president recently also told the vice president that he should allow ministries that were directly under his supervision to be redirected to the office of the president. Do you feel these things are political, or they are just issues of coincidence?
Well, they can never be far from politics. It's about politics, all about conflicts. Conflicts, interest, and fight for interest.
Okay.
So I think it's not far from politics. I think it is not far because when we say 2023, it's by the corner. So intricacies and intrigues and.
But some persons are of the opinion that this is too early. Aima, what do you say about that?
Well, politicians will always be thinking of the next political season once they're done with one. So it might not be far-fetched that the projections of 2023 will have to start. And you should know that Tinubu is a huge stakeholder in APC at the moment. Okay. And so it's popularly believed he's the one who chose the vice president, Professor Osibanjo. And it's also possible that the cabal, there is always cabal in every government, will want to water down his powers. That's natural. But we do not know, we cannot be so certain if that is what is informing some of the steps we're seeing being taken in the presidency. And of course, the media aide to the vice president had come out to clarify some of them, that some of them were outrightly not true. Okay. Then he gave reasons for some of them, but it's anyway expected that he should explain why these things are happening, on his behalf. But it might not really be far-fetched from 2023. And of course, according to Tinubu here defending Osibanjo, that of course, if he has ambitions for 2023, it is right, and so it is right, and then there is no big deal about that. But we do not really see the vice president as someone who really is that politically ambitious. Don't forget that this position is currently occupying. It was more of he was called. It wasn't that he aspired for it, but. We Nigerians, a lot of people feel he's going to make a fantastic president.
So you don't think he's interested in the position of the president?
He's likely to be, but I don't see him to be a very ambitious person. Okay. So if it comes to the extreme point where some politicians want to go the far end, the desperate end to really want to get it, I don't see vice presidents doing that. Okay. If it comes to a point where he's even asked to, okay, relax, I see him, relaxing, except he has the powers, push him and support him and give him all the necessary support. Otherwise, I see him.
It's all right. Away from there, we have a photograph of the vice president of the country, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, assisting Governor Don Emmanuel in the state during the inauguration of King's Flour Mill in the Nalu government area of the state, just as Akwa Ibom State became 32 few days ago. Now, that story is connected to this headline. Why investors troop into Akwa Ibom? That is coming from the vice president with the rider, as Don Emmanuel speaks on 2023 governorship. The vice president was here, And he told us as Akwa Ibom people that why investors troop into Akwa Ibom is because the people are peaceful and the level of hospitality here is warm. You know, what do you make of this story? Well, I'd like us to take this angle. Some persons say, these investors, are they really coming to Akwa Ibom? Are they actually investing? Is this coming? Is this an effect of the government? You know, you understand what I'm talking about? Some persons are still doubting the existence of these industries. So I'd like you to take that, Aima. I don't know if you are comfortable with the matter.
Okay, come on. We are here to analyze the news here. So, of course.
Because the vice president, I like to add, actually appraised this government as one government that has invested, has attracted a lot of investors.
Of course, it's obvious that some industries have come into town, but that doesn't mean that Akwa Ibom State has not been having industries. The question has always been in the sustainability. In fact, in the past 15 years, we've had large industries that employ so many people. You know, but so far in the past 6 years, we haven't really seen much of the effects of industries. It looks like they've folded up, and so with some of these industries coming up now. Some though, because it's not the entire 17 industries as claimed by the state government that are really. So? It's not thinking so. Let's take, for example, the coconut refinery. Is it functional right now? We can't say it's functional. It's not up and doing, but
those are still being speculative.
No, it's not. It's not a speculation. The state government says it is one of the industries they've been, established. Whereas we know the product is supposed to, the resources is supposed to, to base their products from is the coconut farm, and we know right now that it is not reached. The coconut farm has not yielded yet, and I've personally gone to the site, the coconut refinery. It's still under construction, so we cannot say that industry is established and it has employed people. Yes, we can't say that. So, and some others. But we can, testify about the syringe, for example. But even the meat hearing still has a lot of question marks. Are we really producing meters at this point? And how many meters are we sending out there to the market? What is the effect? And then other questions such as how many people are these industries, employing, that should reduce the statistics the NBS had given that Akwa Ibom is the second highest in the unemployment rate. So these are genuine questions Akwa Ibom should be concerned about. And of course, sometimes I want to say establishments of industries and factories ordinarily are private driven, industry driven, and when you use that as a measurement for government that you've done well, it makes me ask, how about, for example, states like Abia State? We have thousands of industries, thousands of factories.
Let me
we have thousands. You don't hear government talk about it.
Do you agree with that?
Totally.
Okay. What do you think is?
No, but I give it to Governor for attracting some of them, like the syringe. It's on a PPP basis. It's just that we want to see it, employ more Akwa Ibom so that the statistics, the unemployment rate will reduce drastically. But for now, we haven't. They've not fed us with the information on how many people it is employed and how far we have grown. In reducing the unemployment rate.
There is a development about the I'm coming. We need to take this break. When we return from this break, there is a development on the Bakassi Deep Sea Port in Cross River. We also have a story coming from Ogun State, and we will discuss that when we return from this break. Join us again, everyone.
My name is nse-Abasi. I am the Primate of Destiny International Missions and also the founding president and chancellor of Lady Impact University, Colorado, USA. I want you to watch Details TV. It's the best thing that has come into town because strange things still do happen in strange places. Keep going.
Welcome back, everyone. $1.2 billion needed for Bakassi Deep Sea Port Super Highway. That is coming from Governor Ben Ayade of Cross River State, with the rider begs federal government for sovereign guarantee. the issue of seaport development in southern Nigeria, across various areas in Nigeria, I'd like us to localize it to Akwa Ibom State. Paulinus, there's a developing Ibom seaport. You are aware of that?
Yeah.
And the government recently has told us that in the process of documenting whatever is needed to implement that project, that they are in the final stage. But over the years between 2015 and now, what do you think is still delaying this project? Are you satisfied with the tempo of development in that sector?
In as much as we are told severally that the politics of seaport is beyond the states.
Okay.
This is a national politics or whatever. I would say they are trying, but I pray it should not take a whole generation. I pray we should live to see these seaports, because what they are telling us today is what they told us 5 years ago.
You think they
are almost completed? They have finished documentation. We are testing the soil. They are testing the water. We have the biggest flank or whatever. So, well, I'm not so excited about the development of these seaports.
But I'd like us to also discuss the importance or the ability of some of these seaports. If we actually have them, like the one in Cross River, if the one in Akwa Ibom State is put up, you know what we could achieve from such sectors. Now, what do you think, Imaobong? How would you advise the government, both in Cross River State and Akwa Ibom State, to fasten these processes for the interest of the people that elected them?
The Ibaka Deep Seaport or Ibom Deep Seaport, whichever name it is, it will be the greatest, for me, it will be the greatest economic turnaround, so to say, for the state. If that seaport is completed, you can imagine the streams of activities, economic activities that will come down to Akwa Ibom. Many people, in fact, you won't even need to invite industries. Industries will be coming on their own to be established. It will be the major turnaround for us economically as a state. So I'm wishing that that project, is brought to fruition. And talking about the politics part of it, initially we were told the powers of the South
the bureaucracy,
West region will not allow you. Yes, things like that. It will not allow, because they wouldn't want to share, the profits, the gains of having their own seaport with other regions, So, but we have seen Niger State complete their seaport. The Niger State government has just come. They've reached the final stage. And when I talk about the final stage, I'm not talking about
the physical final stage.
The one our government here is telling us we've reached the final stage. They have put in structures. You can see that the seaport is set for operation. And so how did they do it? So, but recently the federal government had promised to partner with Akwa Ibom State government to ensure that the Ibaka Deep Seaport comes to fruition. I'm hoping that partnership will see the light of the day.
Let's see what happens going forward. We have Ogun State Governor scraps motions, 3,700 school levy. The rider declares free education. I like us to take the free education angle. You see, free education is actually free indeed. Some governors talk about free and compulsory, like the one we had in Akwa Ibom under former Governor Godswill Akpabio. Do you see the effects of these policies in the states actually beyond mere rhetorics?
You see, when we talk about free education,
yes.
When you talk about
because the educational system is becoming something else in many states across the country.
Okay. If a government wants to invest in education, you look at it holistically. Now look at the input. How about the teachers? It is not the government that will teach the pupils or students or whatever.
That's correct.
It is the teachers. How are they remunerated? How are they motivated? What about their salaries? What about their gratuities? How about pensions when they retire? Free and compulsory education started. Why free education started from the West? Actually, we have heard that in history. They were sincere. Awolowo was sincere about it, and that's why you see the effects. Wherever you have whatever industry come, even into your village, if you're not careful, the leadership of the industry must accommodate a Yoruba personality. Why? Because they had invested in education right from the 50s, and they were sincere about it. So, well, I'm not condemning our own is good, but I do not the outreach, the turnover.
Talking about teachers. So I read recently someone was telling us on social media that teachers expect their rewards in heaven.
No, it should not be. It should be here now. It should be on earth.
Okay, you have something to add on that?
Yes. If we begin to treat teachers the way we treat politicians. I mean,
Okay.
politicians get
That's
a huge payback, check back every month, and even before the month even ends. So if we begin to, treat the teachers, make them happy that they're doing the work they're doing, because they're actually they are the bedrock of a solid foundation for society. Talking about free education, yes, free in the sense that the financial burden, a lot of poor parents, would have had.
It's been by the government. Yeah.
It's been taken away, so that is a relief. It's a good one. But especially in our state here, we need to really talk about the state of infrastructures, the quality of education, and then the state of school infrastructures.
Okay.
We do not have standard public schools. We need to begin to invest in public, because most of us here are products of public institutions, officials, government officials. Most of us,
I saw the news yesterday. The governor of Kaduna State enrolled his son in a public school.
He cannot take his son to a school that he doesn't have a guarantee that teachers will be able to teach the child well. So imagine that being replicated in Akwa Ibom State.
Okay.
A lot of things will turn around. When once you get to see government officials begin to share space with the common people, you want to make that space comfortable enough, of a good quality, for everyone. So I want to see education in Akwa Ibom needs to take a different dimension. In fact, a state of emergency should be declared.
Before we shut that item, let me contribute in question form.
Okay, let me get you.
How many of our commissioners, how many of our governors have their children in these public schools? That's one. Two, how many teachers own big houses in a warehousing? Shelter free, drive the best cars.
Those ones are not
these guys are not motivated. They're not happy. How would you sit down and be teaching? You see, someone that is not even up to maybe a school set holder, whatever, or a diploma.
So the system does not encourage.
We are mocking ourselves. It's simply rhetoric, in my own opinion.
That gets to the Apepe quarters. Going away from there, we have the first time I hammered as businessman in Akwa Ibom, or your state governor. He need a copy of Daily Detail newspaper to read on that story. Finally, we are taking DOT award contract again. Niger Delta Minister orders NDDC. The Minister for Niger Delta Affairs, former Governor Godswill Akpabio of Akwa Ibom State, is saying that this commission, the NDDC, has actually ongoing projects that have not been completed. But for them to be able to work effectively and deliver, they should now shut down further awarding of contracts. Do you agree with the minister?
Many people are not aware that the president has given the new minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, the specific task of reviewing, the things that happen in the NDDC.
Okay.
Especially given with the complaints of this recently dissolved board. They had issues with so much money being billions of naira. So, and then Mr. President has complained that the Niger Delta does not reflect the quantity of resources of money that have been invested in this region, and so something is wrong. And so he had given Senator Akpabio the task to review those things and then find out what the challenge is, and then going forward see how to for us to make headway. So specifically, I watch out for the east-west road, and it's terrible that as a people in this region, we have not been conscious about development. You get to see we have opportunities. Our sons, our fathers, our mothers, sons and daughters have been in prominent positions, where they had access to a lot of funds that could be sunk, deliberately into the region for development, but it gets diverted to private process, and that's quite unfair. So you get to see the state of road conditions, water. Go to Bayelsa State, for example. The population is not much. The resources is huge. They collect one of the highest monthly allocations, but the condition of that state is sad. They don't have good water. They don't have poor public facilities. And it's not supposed to be that way.
And this is a commission that usually every year they have big budgets.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's a welcome development, and we need to check these things. And then anybody who is found wanting should go for it. This idea of not punishing people who steal our public funds.
Okay.
You know, it is not good at all.
Okay,
We seem to have sympathy for a lot of people.
Let me take Paulinus on this. The man goes to Akpabio in the Ministry of Niger Delta. What do you think? What are the prospects? What do you feel by the time this government is ending, Godswill Akpabio would contribute to the development of this country in this sector?
Yeah.
What do you see?
The Godswill Akpabio I know likes to always create a name.
Okay.
He likes to leave his footprints on the sands of time. He likes to be known. He likes to do well.
Okay.
I think, judging from his predecessors and his past,
Okay.
Political profile, I think he would make a huge difference.
All right.
He would make a huge difference. So I think he will lead us to.
Okay, let's keep hope alive. That was the size of our program today on Paper Review. Keep watching Detail TV. I've been your anchor, John Tekum. With me in the studios are two persons. We have Imaobong Akpa Akpan, a socio-political commentator and public affairs analyst, and equally out to the Paulinus Center of the Daily Detail newspaper. Join us again, everyone.